Shalom, shalom, shalom. I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessing, and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered abroad, teaching His word in truth and sincerity. I'm back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. And this lesson is going to be on, Judah, right, representing the southern kingdom. The so-called blacks, the Haitians and Jamaicans, and the northern kingdom, which is, Ephraim, starting from Ephraim all the way down to Issachar, are being oppressed together. Right, they're being oppressed together, and we're gonna see more trouble following the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom because the devil's coming down with great wrath, right? So we're going to start seeing more and more oppression and tribulation coming towards our people. So I'm going to get a few scriptures, and Lord willingly, this lesson is edifying, right? This is Jeremiah 50:33. It says, "Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go." All right, so we're being oppressed in this place called America, right? Babylon the Great. And we're being persecuted in this land. Now, we know that the persecution is just starting. Right? This is not the end-all, be-all of our persecution. And, Judah thinks he's safe because, well, he's a legalized citizen. So he doesn't have to worry about getting deported. But Trump is trying to put laws in play. If it was up to him, he would deport everybody, right? He'll deport Judah too, and we know that so-called blacks are, I think, the number one imprisoned people in America. So of course he would want to move a lot of these, a lot of you so-called blacks out of the country. But we know that, we still have to go through our tribulation, and we're going to be going through it, in America, right? We're gonna go through it in America. So they're gonna try to deport, so-called Hispanics, so-called Haitians and Jamaicans, and they're gonna be successful. But a lot of judgment is gonna happen in America, Babylon the Great, right? That's where the judgment is gonna happen. So we're just seeing the stage being set for that. Just this for more persecution, right? Because scriptures talk about, the devil casting us into prison, right? So let me get that, which is that a part of that martial law, right? So that's a part of the persecution is us being cast in prison, right? So you see that they want to cast us in prisons, and I think it said El Salvador, right? So yeah, we're starting to see, the setup for the Israelites. I believe it's let's see, it might be number 2. Yes, this is Revelations 2 and 10. It says, "Fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. But be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life." All right, so we know the devil, Esau, Edom, which is the deceiver, is going to try to cast us into prison. All right, so you got these prisons that could be overseas in different countries, right? You got prisons set up in America, Babylon the Great, these FEMA camps, right? So you got prisons that the Israelites are going to go into, right? And it says it's for us to be tried. So you should have tribulations 10 days, which that 10 is talking about a complete number of days, right? Right. So not actual 10 days, right? It's going to be a number of days that we're going to have to be tried, and that's a part of the tribulation. Us being tried by Yahweh Shema Shai to see if we are of that particular lot of men who keep the faith, right? So, hey man, it's a lot of things going on, There's a lot of things building up, right? A lot of uproars of the people, right? You got ICE coming against, these tribes. Some of them going to just go, but some of them are going to put up a fight, which is going to cause, the government to send more troops, more martial law, or martial law itself, to come and try to, to control the situation, right? But we know that you got the Northern Kingdom, you got the Southern Kingdom being oppressed, but we know that the elect is going to come together, right? We're going to come together. We're not going to be at odds with one another, because we're going to have one mind. We're going to have one understanding of what's to come, right? We're going to be we're going to have that shared vision of what we need, what's going to happen, and what we need to do to make it happen, right? This is Isaiah 11:13. It says, "The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim." Right? Because you see that right now, it's a lot of vexation between the tribes. Oh, you guys didn't help us out, and we shouldn't help you guys out, and we don't need you guys' help, and it's bickering back and forth between the tribes. Issachar and Judah on us having us being oppressed, and us having I guess a difference in opinions on whether we should help or whether we shouldn't help. At the end of the day, the elect is going to come together with the same mind, right? So these tribes, they're still in the mind of their captivity, man. They still haven't been fully converted, but they're going to have to make up their minds if they want to be saved, right? They're going to have to come to the conclusion that, hey, we need to come together in the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai, not in the spirit of the world, not in the spirit of trying to overthrow the government or be military minded. That's not going to save you in these last days, right? You're not going to be able to overthrow Esau, Edom, trying to be military minded. You need to have the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai on you, and you got to understand what we're supposed to do in these times, which is repent, turn back to the Lord, pray, and seek the Lord's face. That's it. Because we can't do anything other than that. We're not going to win Esau, Edom's battle, right? He was given the power of the sword, right? And what does it say? It's in Psalms 17:13. He was given that sword for a reason. Let me bring up this scripture though. He bears Slakia. Right? Because Esau Edom was given that sword for a purpose, right? To pretty much be the whipping stick to the house of Israel. Right, that's kind of going to the government, right? The Lord put these Edomites over us for a particular reason, right? Because we broke the law, statutes, commandments. Now we're in captivity under our enemies, and the Lord gave them that to keep us in check until He would put the Spirit on us to get in order. So this is Romans 13:1. It said, "Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. The power that be are ordained of God." It says, "Whosoever therefore resists the power resisteth the ordinance of God, and they that resist shall receive them to themselves damnation. For the rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. For he is the minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon that doeth evil." Right. So you have to look at it like this. A lot of these tribes, they don't adhere to the law, and we're not saying that you got to adhere to the law that tells you to do things against Yahweh Shema Shai, but you do have to abide by the laws, right? We understand in Yahweh Shai's time, and they had to pay taxes, right? Yahweh Shai said, render what is Caesar's to Caesar, roughly paraphrasing, or give what belongs to Caesar, right? Because we're under the Roman captivity at that time. Now, and we have to pay, we have to abide by the laws of the land in this time, because the Lord put us under this captivity for a reason, right? It says he bears not the sword in vain, right? The Lord gave Esau Edom the sword to keep us in check, right? So we have to be subject unto him until the Lord comes and delivers us out of this captivity, right? We're not going to get out of this captivity by, trying to join forces and be military minded. Rather, we have to be in the same mind when it comes to the spirit of Yahweh Shimon Shai, and that's what's going to allow us to, escape these said perils and get beamed up out of here, right? So we have to make sure that we're putting the mindset of the Lord on, right? Being conformed by the renewing of our mind and being changed and conformed under the image of the Son, right? This is Ezekiel 37 and 17. I might have to read 16. Let's see. Yep. This is Ezekiel 37 and 16. Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions. Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all of the house of Israel, his companions, and join them to one to another into one stick, and they shall become one in thy hand. Right? So, hey, that's the joining together of the northern and the southern kingdom. Judah and Ephraim, right, which are the head of the tribes of each house. Right? You got the house of Judah and you have the house of Israel. So those houses are going to come together in the last days. We're not going to vex one another, and we're going to understand that we're the same people, and we have the same purpose. Right? The 144,000 must be sealed as teachers, but the rest of the Israelites have to also be sealed, which is like 1/3. They're going to be sealed and given salvation from Yahweh Shimon Shai. So we have to all be in one mind. We can't be fighting and bickering between one another about who had it worse or who helped who in what time. Right? We didn't understand at that time. We didn't have the knowledge, the wisdom. We didn't have the breath in us at that time. So of course we didn't help each other out, or we were fending for ourselves, right? But now in this time, we're to come together with one consent to serve Yahweh Shimon Shai in the land of our captivity. It talks about how we're going to remember ourselves, right? Let's go to that. I think it's Baruch. I think it's 2 and it's somewhere right here. Right, it's like I think it's 30. Let me get that real quick. 2 and 30, right? So that's a part of the wakening up, Let's see if it's 29. Okay. This is Baruch 2 and 30. For I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of the captivities, they shall remember themselves, right? So we're remembering who we are. So with us remembering who we are, now we understand, Issachar, Ephraim, Zebulun, these are our people. These are our brothers. So no longer will we have that division between us. And I'm talking about the brothers that are in the truth. We're not talking about these niggas out here that's going around doing this dumb shit who haven't had the spirit in them, right? Who don't have the spirit in them. They're going to do nigga shit. They're going to do ignorant shit, right? We're talking about the brothers who understand who they are according to the scriptures, and that are adhering to the things that we're supposed to do that spoke about in the scriptures, right? We're concerned about them. We're not concerned about these 2/3, man. It says, Baruch 2:31, and shall know that I am the Lord their God, for I will give them a heart to hear, heart and a ears to hear. And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name. Right? So, Ephraim, right? Judah, and they're going to be thinking about the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua in the last days. And return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds, for they shall remember the way of their fathers which sinned before the Lord. Right? And I will bring them again into the land which I promised. And let me just, say this for a side note, right? Issacharites, Judites, they have pride in their ancestry when it comes to this land. Their forefathers as being so-called Black Americans, or being, Aztecs, or Mayans, whatever. But that's not who we are, right? So we have pride, and I'm talking about the 2/3 have pride in a byword, right? Pride in a people who didn't understand what was going on. Our ancestors, they didn't do the right things. The Lord didn't give them the spirit. So why would we have pride in being Black or being Aztec or Mayan, right? We shouldn't have pride in that, right? Even though the Aztecs and the Mayans, that was more of their indigenous nature, I would say, being more closer to who they were naturally. But still, they still needed, the spirit in them. They still needed to go through what they needed to go through to get more of an understanding of who they are as a people, their remembrance, right? So, a true man of the Lord who's woken up to who they are is not going to be concerned about Mexicans and Aztecs. They're going to be concerned about Issachar, right? They're going to be concerned about Ephraim. They're going to be concerned about who they really are, as the names given to them by the Most High Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, right? I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, right? So we're not going to be worried about Mexico. We're not going to be worried about America, because we know that the land that was given to us is Israel. So we're concerned about going there, in the kingdom of heaven, wherein dwelleth righteousness. Unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they shall be lords of it, and I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. Right? So that's what we're concerned about. Right? Let's see. It says, okay, that's cool right there. The elder Manasseh Zakba always says, a lot of these tribes, they're coming over here to either be saved or be judged. Right? So that's what's happening. If you're coming over here and you're not, you don't run into the Israelites, and you don't convert and repent, and you're just coming over here to be judged by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Now, if it's your lot, you Issacharites, even you Jamaicans and you Haitians, if you coming over here and you hear the words of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, hey, you came over here to really receive salvation. Right? So it depends on what lot the Lord gave you, but it's only two ways out of here, right? It's either you're going to get destroyed in Babylon the Great, or you're going to be saved in Babylon the Great, right? So it depends up to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua what your lot is, but hey, the Lord is setting the stage. He's putting all the pieces together so that when these things do happen, you're going to be either on one side or you're going to be on the other. Or you're going to be on the side of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, or you're going to be on the side of destruction, right? You're going to be on the right-hand side, which is the righteous, which are the men and the women who are going to be saved, or you're going to be on the left-hand side, and those are the goats that are going to be cast into the fire. Right? So I think I hit the precepts. It's not going to be a long lesson, but just ranting through the spirit. I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem HaKadosh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And until next time, Lord willingly, Shalom.